So you are Dr. John Kim, or Professor Kim, as your students like to call you. And from what I understand, and it's a pleasure to meet you, I'm Vanessa Ament over with
Nice meeting you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I understand you are going to be taking students to Japan. So before we get started on talking about where you're going to be going or what you're going to be doing, because I already know that I want to go with you, please tell me what those objects are behind you.
Oh, behind me, yes. These are ramen packages from the Top Ramen Museum in Yokohama, Japan. And that's just south of Tokyo. And so this is a collection of all of the ramen packages, or at least a small section of the ramen packages that they've produced over the years.
So tell me a little bit about the program that you're going to be going on to Japan. I think you said it was the second part of summer you're going to be going?
Yes, it's going to be in the second part of the summer. It's going to be from August 19th to September 17th in 2021. That's going to be right after the Olympics in Tokyo, and it's going to be during the Paralympics in Tokyo. So there's going to be a lot of activity there.
Oh my gosh. So, wow. So what will you be doing with your class in Tokyo? What kind of programs are you going to have? What sort of cultural benefits? Why does this learning program, abroad program, be good for your students? I'd like to hear a little bit more detail about it.
Oh, great. Yeah, so we're going to be partnering with Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. That's where we were based last time, the first time I ran this program in 2019. And in 2018.
2 years ago you went, and you're going to be going again next year. It's very exciting.
We're going to be going again. We're going to be going again next year. And so the academic part of the program is all about the history and culture of the Japanese Empire and its immediate aftermath after World War II. And we're going to have a lot of day trips, all throughout Tokyo. And we're going to be going to the historic sites, such as the Yasukuni Shrine, which is very controversial all throughout Asia. Always causes a great deal of controversy when politicians visit there, as well as really fun, exciting, interesting things like visiting Tokyo's Skytree, which is the largest tower in the world. And it is a spectacular view where you can see far beyond Tokyo on top of that tower, as well as just doing, I strongly encourage students to explore on their own. So there will be plenty of time for students to visit all the places that they've heard about probably, but have only seen in movies or in video games, like the electronics district of Akihabara in Tokyo, as well as the centers of youth culture in Tokyo, Shibuya and Harajuku. And everything is easily accessible from campus by train.
How many students are going to be taking, and what kind of prerequisites do they need to take this course?
See, last time we took 16 students, but we can accommodate up to, I believe, around 24. There will be a TA there to accompany you and to help along with this, with just exploring the city. In terms of during the morning, there will be a language component to this program, and then after the language program, it's only going to be an hour and a half a day. And afterwards, there's going to be my class, which quite often sometimes it's going to be in the classroom, other times it's going to be in the form of a field trip going in and around the city.
So they don't need to know Japanese before they go, but they'll be learning some Japanese when they're there.
Yes, and so we decided to have a language component because it is the best way we found for students to explore. And even if you can't really speak Japanese very well, just being able to utter thank you, arigatou gozaimasu, hello, konnichiwa, just be able to interact with these people, it just really opens up all these different possibilities, and people will go out of their way to support you in your language learning or whatever it is that you're looking for using the language.
Now, you mentioned rail. What kind of rail adventures on the train will the students be able to have?
Oh, this is Tokyo and this is Japan. We will always be on local commuter trains. It's the Japan's local rail network Tokyo's local rail network is the largest in the world, and it is basically, there's no such thing as going to Japan without being on the rails, right?
Okay.
And they are fast, very, very punctual, and we call it very reliable. And so those would just be our day-to-day commuter train experiences when we're out exploring Tokyo.
Uh-huh.
But then on our way to Hiroshima, which is the culmination of the program, we'll be riding the world famous Shinkansen, the bullet train.
Oh my gosh.
Those students will be able to experience what it's like to travel at 220 miles an hour.
Wow. I was on a really fast train in France several years
Oh,
ago, and there's nothing like it. I went from the south of France to Paris, and I could not believe how fast it was. Students sometimes like to know what sort of future career benefits there might be from taking a trip like this, because it's a huge investment of time, money, energy, everything. You know, it's cultural. It's cultural in its importance, but also they like to know what sort of career opportunities they might get out of something like this, or how it might benefit them in their knowledge base for future careers. So can you address that issue?
oh, great. Yes. I mean, especially if for students who are really intensely interested in learning the language,
Mhm.
this is one of those key experiences where they can see, yes, I can, in fact, learn this language. I can, in fact, communicate in this language. And there are all sorts of opportunities here for me. I know that, let's see, one of the students, actually the student that I just mentioned, she's now looking for computer engineering jobs in Japan. Another student another student had decided that he wants to continue studying in Japan. I had once run another program about 5 years ago, also in Tokyo, and those students later went on. At least of the 30 students that I was chaperoning on that program, at least 5 of them later got a, a so-called JET, what do you call it? A JET internship in
Uh-huh.
Japan to teach English. And they have gone on, and through that opportunity of teaching on JET, right, which they were considered very viable candidates for JET because they had already had experience in Japan, right? And they had gone on to actually working in Japan, and some in advertising, others in education, and, and they're still developing.
It's clear to
Uh,
me that you have had a huge influence on students. I do have one more final question. If students need to reach you through email to get more details that are specific to their own personal circumstances, to get
sure.
information about cost, timing, requirements, everything, what is the best email to reach you at?
john.kim@ucr.edu. john.kim@ucr.edu. I'm always happy to talk to students about studying in Japan and studying Japanese literature, culture, history. And
Well, I
so
have to tell
please do
you,
contact me.
it sounds like a wonderful program. And it sounds like, I mean, as I talk to a lot of faculty that are doing these amazing programs, I keep thinking I'd like to be one of the people going. And I have to say that yours really is very appealing to me. I like cultural things deeply. So I really hope that a lot of students will be excited to go with you. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with me. And I hope that students will reach out to you and ask for more information, because these study abroad programs are astounding. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And to everyone out there, please send me an email.